December 18th. This is Ukraine Forum, Media Center. Svetlana Chiparenko is my name. As part of Brain Hub, we discuss Telegram, a convenience or a Russian spy in our pockets. Here are the participants. Pavlo Fialkovskii, an analyst at the Molfar OSINT agency. Yegor, Aushev, expert at the Institute of Cyber War Research. Valentyn, Kucheruk, co-founder of the Institute of Cyber Warfare Research. And Oleksii, Pivtorak, deputy head of the Detector Media Research Center. So, let's start with the statement that Telegram is the most popular messenger in Ukraine, user-friendly, convenient, nice looking, lots of smiles, but there are lots of undercurrents, um, underwater currents here. Yeah, being in the states of war, we need to recognize that there is a thin line between the convenience and the safety of our close ones, our military, all those who unfortunately still use Telegram not only for personal communication but also for work-related processes. As expert community, as an NGO that has a couple of private companies and cyber volunteers among ourselves, we've been deliberating on those topic for quite a while, and finally we decided that it's time to raise this issue to the outside community's general discussion, because there will be more and more challenges and threats from the use of Telegram. First of all, it's worth stating that Telegram is basically a legalized dark net where you can disseminate information, various information, and there is no way for anyone to impact this information. This dark net or messenger disseminates lots of information about our military in various anonymous groups, lots of children pornography, uh, sales of drugs, and nobody can impact this. The problem that exists, everybody recognizes it, but we just live with it. But we want our government institutions to start paying attention to this, start discussing it, including the involvement of the experts community, and start coming up with new mechanisms of how to use this messenger or never use it again. The second huge problem that we observe here ties with the Russian Federation that this product contains. Looking broader, you can see the whole cyber security chain of threats. I'm talking here not only about Telegram or messengers, it's a broader issue that also needs to be discussed. We can defend our perimeter, our systems any way we like, but since everybody uses Russian software, they can get easy access or compromise the database and create nationwide problem that will affect everyone. So our cyber warfare research institute suggests that we can offer some uh, checklists that we can go through with the government institutions and either allow the use of this software or forbid it. So whether they have ties with the Russian Federation, uh, Russian citizens or not, and beneficiaries of the uh, Russian Federation, physically or legally registered in Russia, the design and development office, fully or partially in Russia, any ties with the Russian security uh, services, whether the servers are located physically in Russia, because in Russia forbids the use any software unless the servers are located at the territory of Russia. Telegram is allowed for use in Russia, so we can deduce from there that the service allocated there, even though publicly they don't state that. Key issues that we will discuss in greater detail, and now, colleagues, the floor is yours. Pavlo, the main source of all of the founders, is the Pavlo Durov, and the servers, according to Durov, are not located in Russia. Allegedly, he left Russia for so long time ago. Is it so? Is Telegram distant from the Russian authorities, as Pavlo Durov stated? Yeah. We'll get back to servers a bit later, but let's start by saying how the Telegram audience increased. Well, most likely FSB blocked it to increase the audience that will be easier to monitor, which has been confirmed later on by Matveyev, the State Duma member of the parliament, Russian parliament. He said Durov managed to uh, come to an agreement with FSB, end quote. Also, investments of Russian oligarchs, Abramovich, Salonin, and Kabashvili. Kabashvili, by the way, is under sanction billionaire. Another issue of investments was when Durov had almost 700 million dead because Telegram for quite a while was making losses. So they got VTB and Alpha Bank investments that have direct ties with Kremlin. On public statements, we learned about this based on the heads of the Libertarian Party of Russia, the Igor Bondarenko, the lawyer, told it to Inver that he cleaned all his dialogues in Telegram, but during interrogations, his last 6 months printouts were brought to him as evidence, collected, even after he deleted all that. You remember Alexei Navalny, right? They had a system which was called Smart Voting, Telegram bot that suggests to a person whom to vote for at the constituency point. So a person comes there, enters into bot where they came to, and they suggest the least corrupt candidate to vote for. So 2 months before this vote, somehow this bot has been blocked. On the servers, we did conduct the survey of where Telegram is being promoted at Russian servers, screen with the Russian IP address. And another interesting point here, there's Vice President Ilya Fialkovskii, who, well, being Vice President, that's one of the officers. So during the blocking time, he was at the territory of Russia. You can check it on his Instagram with your own eyes. Doesn't it look weird that in Russia, where they put you into prison for reposting stuff, deputy CEO of the banned company stays in Russia? But still, what's curious here is that after it was unblocked in June, so in July already, he visits one event where he shakes hands with Mishustin, the then Prime Minister of Russia, and talks about them cooperating and such. Well, they are joking about this on the podium. And the same August, he posts on Instagram how he bugs with governor of Volогодskaya Oblast, claiming that Russian bugs are better than those manufactured in America. So, how secure the messages are? Signal, another most popular, and our audit suggests that it's uh, place number 5. We looked at their codes, how often the external audit happens, how well they are communicating back to you when you ask them about their coding. That's it from me. Thank you, Oleksii. Telegram is user friendly, right? But it could disseminate disinformation as well. So, what messages Russia disseminates and how to curb that? Telegram is the main place where we uh, take disinformation messages for our survey. Yes, we work with the Facebook data, with Odnoklassniki, with Vkontakte, sometimes YouTube, Instagram, but still, most, regardless of what topics are there. Elderly people, children. It's quite convenient for us, for self employed. You have a place where it's your bread and butter, but from the standpoint of information security and how it should have been, it's not that great for people. Well, of course, it's better when this information comes from sources where it's more difficult for it to continue, while in Telegram it's freely accessible. Telegram officially allows to gather data from open sources about posts, time, reposts, all that. And there are so, those who sell this data, others who are well versed in Python uh, programming language. They can do it themselves. Of course, we would love this information to be harder to be found. On the one hand, on the other hand, it looks like that Telegram was assigned to this role of the Russian messenger as soon as Odnoklassniki and Vkontakte were blocked. And then, in the first months and of Russian invasion, Anatoly Shari's account was blocked, and Telegram became the main source of disinformation, with good grounds for that, because according to Kantarn research, as of January 2022, before the invasion, Telegram has been used by 88% of the Ukrainians, which meant that it was needed to people, but like any other messenger you can send and gives becoming most popular, well, who knows? But it has already been used as the source of data, as media. Lots of media companies had their Telegram channels, and there were lots of Telegram channels where under the guise of insights and sensations. They shared the information which often enough was just the retelling of the news from well-known media organizations on the one hand. On the other hand, the information would get to people. People would be spoon-fed information, but information that has been fast refreshed. And when the invasion started, and all the information about survival was huge because access to information and your knowledge how to deal with it, well, Telegram channels became, their popularity skyrocketed. And now the audience, not of Telegram channels that media or represent government authorities, but channels who, and we don't know who is behind them. Or when we know who the owners are, they fail or they ignore our complaints of what they published there. A year ago, Vladimir Zelensky had more than 1 million subscribers. Now, 830,000 something, which means that the need of Vladimir Zelensky in Telegram goes down, but at the same time, the popularity increases of those who publishes news not on then under their name, but our source in the government stated this or that. The country is in shambles, the economy is in ruins, and similar messages that nobody is responsible for, and which just psy-op. Last year, in the first year of the invasion, the Telegram channels would be popularizing one another by showing the pictures how the Russians have been punished or the information about finding those who perpetrated crimes against Ukrainians. So those TV channels would publish insights, hot news. People still use those Telegram channels, they're still popular, and that's the problem. There's this survey of Detector media using the rating of media literacy. And the latest one suggests that media literacy keeps increasing in Ukraine, and more than 80% have their media literacy above average. About 90% of Ukrainians have Telegram. Thank you, Oleksii and Valentyn. Is Telegram spying on us? Are there confirmed facts and evidence that Telegram has been used by Russia in their cyber warfare against us? Hello, everyone. Well, we install Telegram on cell phone, right? When you install Telegram application, they say give us access to address book, then to your mic, photo albums, documents. You agree to that, to your camera. You granted this access, and then if we read Telegram website, we can see that there is a license policy. You agree on that, and it states all of the information would be stored at the servers. Notifications, photos, documents, contacts by default are stored at the servers of the Telegram. And we know where territorially they are located. Like Yegor said, the policy of the Russian Federation is to place servers at the territory of Russia. Well, then, one of the conclusions might be, yeah, it's there. Data is being coded, right? But who can confirm that? No external audits? There's another huge problem, phishing links. It's unreal to deal with them that are being generated by bots and sharing the information, and people just push the phishing link and we don't know what to do with this. The same is true for disseminating malware. It's not being tested. Nobody tests them. There's a link, people go there, and then lots of cases like that, stealing information and stuff, and who uses them? Well, some special services probably, they are not covering that particular loophole. Geolocation, and by default, if you give them access, you can look at all of those who install Telegram, their accounts there, and you can show function find nearby and use it proactively. What other risks could be mentioned here? Well, these are the most widely spread. Couple of words from me. When the Russians would get their cell phones, Russian prisoners, it's Telegram and Vkontakte are the two most frequently installed, and they claim that they are ordered to use Telegram and Vkontakte for communications. And geolocation's the same. So it's very easy to use it anonymously and get certain information. So we can find friends around. It allows to find our military who unfortunately sometimes use those Telegram messengers. So if we care for our Russian soldiers, let's keep explaining this to our relatives. Don't use the Russian Messenger. Don't use Telegram. At least whatever to do with your job or security, sensitive information, just don't share it using Telegram. Is it possible to ban legislatively uh, Telegram or media literacy? Again, 88% of media savvy people and 90% who have Telegram. Yeah, we as experts need to raise this issue and explain to our compatriots and especially legislature. Here's the problem, here are the technical challenges, and then it's up to the members of the parliaments to decide whether it's worth being banned or not. But at least we need to start discussing it, because from technical standpoint it will be possible. We need to have law in place. I am aware of 2 cases when Telegram Messenger was threatened to be blocked. And in Russia and Iran, Telegram would cooperate with authorities. And other example of those corporations who have iOS and Google platforms where they threaten that they will delete the app from Google Store, and Telegram is business. So they went for concessions because it's important for them to keep generating profits even with the authoritarian regimes. And we need to start pressurizing Telegram, not like Russia and Iran are doing, but by allowing Telegram to operate globally using major platforms as Telegram Messenger. Any questions? Center of Strategic Communications. Telegram, is it the business or is it the tool of Russia, Russian state and Russian security community against us? Looking at the OSINT data, about hundreds of millions of dollars of costs running Telegram. So this is a cost-making business. That brings lots of other questions, right? But lots of things are happening that we have no clue about because it happens within Russia, but lots of investment funds and Russian corporations invested into Telegram, which brings us to believe that Telegram is the messenger that has been supported at the Russian federal level. Andriana Valyanek Svidomi. What are the risks by Telegram to the military people and to people at the temporarily occupied territories? What I've observed with my own some military do use Telegram and they do not even switch off the geolocation function, which might cause shelling of the groupings of such markers. For the safety of soldiers, stop communicating with them using Telegram. The Ukrainians should be well versed in this. We need to understand that each one of us is the foot soldier of the cyber warfare. Each one of us has been used to gain access to certain military-related data. Each one of us is a personal enemy of the Russian Federation. Some people believe, even those who have high level of media literacy, they believe that if I use Telegram just to read news channels and not to use as a messenger, then it reduces the risks. Is that so? But you grant them access to everything, right? It might reduce the risks, of course. The issue of cyber security, when you stop clicking on certain links, yeah. But speaking about information hygiene, where we play on the alien playfield, Russian playfield, where we receive information and disinformation in good measure, they can increase or reduce your popularity in that messenger. That needs to be understood. It should be used against Russians, but not against us. Moderation, it's non-existent there, and thus there's a huge threat of being contaminated by Russian viruses. But Telegram is not the only messenger worldwide where you can collect data and communicate. If you don't use Telegram, the world won't disappear, right? Why read dozens of Telegram channels if the news repeats themselves? You can survive without Telegram and nothing would suffer. But Viber is the second most popular, but that's for another discussion. Well, again, thank you. Media Center Brain Hub discussed Telegram, whether it's a convenient messenger or a spy in our pockets. Tomorrow we'll continue working. Stay with us.